News First, face to face with Shalan Benedict.
Hello there, a very good evening. Welcome to another edition of Face to Face. If you're just tuning in, some breaking news. Minister Keheli Rambukwella has been arrested in connection to the immunoglobulin scam. This is after he went to the CID to provide a statement regarding this matter. Just some context to this entire story. Initially, he was asked to come on a certain date to the CID. He didn't show up, and when the matter was taken up in court recently, the magistrate was informed that he did not come to the CID when he was summoned to the CID, and the State Counsel, appearing on behalf of the Attorney General, informed the magistrate that the reason that he provided was that he had to attend some other parliamentary meeting, and upon inquiry from those who were present at that parliamentary meeting, he was not present there. So the magistrate ordered him to appear at the CID today. He did appear at the CID today, this morning, and following a lengthy statement that was provided, he has now been arrested. We will continue to keep you up to date on this serious scam that took place in Sri Lanka, and where several high-level individuals in the health sector of Sri Lanka have been arrested, are in remand custody, the latest arrest being none other than the then Minister of Health himself, Keheli Rambukwella. To discuss these matters and much more, of course, we've got with us today President's Counsel Maithri Gunaratne, no stranger to the political scene in Sri Lanka and no stranger to face-to-face. Sir, now, the online safety bill was passed, and that is what you're principally here to discuss about, but we'll of course get into these other matters as well. You've recently formed certain alliances. You are now looking at this election, being an election year coming up, several elections coming up. Let's start off with the online safety bill. Now, it was passed. We got the act, the proper act that was passed only today. So you've got only a little time to go through the act, but of course, given your extensive knowledge in law, that wouldn't have been too much of a task for you. So just take us through this, because there is a lot of speculation going on. There is a lot of misinformation, disinformation on both sides. Some people claiming that it is extremely bad and dangerous, and some people claiming that it's extremely good and favorable for the nation. So now all of that can be put to rest since the act is out. So what are the salient features of this act, and could you maybe debunk a few misinformation and
Sharan,
disinformation that are spreading?
Firstly, thank you for inviting me for this program. And the online safety bill, the act.
We need to get used to calling it that.
The act, I of course feel it has been bought for the betterment of the public. But in the operation of the act, where the President appoints all 5 people to the online safety bill, this commission, that is where the operation of the act can be sabotaged, or they can meddle around with that. So vis-a-vis the provisions of the act, I think it is restricting unscrupulous social media people from exploiting innocent people. So vis-a-vis that, I think it's a very progressive act which this country has bought in, and this is in line with all other developed countries. They have this similar kind of act.
Okay,
but we, although we are bringing in very high-tech acts in, we don't have the apparatus to put it into operation. Now, for instance, there is the Witness Protection Act. Witness Protection Act.
Yes.
Now, that act was bought in all good faith, to protect the witnesses, protect people who are involved
victims of crime.
Victims of crime. Now, I will tell you a example where a case where I am appearing. Now, in that case, this is the Gota Gogama, the case which on the assault of the Gota Gogama, the MC Fort.
And minor Gogama in front of...
that's right.
Yes.
Now, in that case, there was an instance where they were investigating, and there was 17 million found in the possession of the President Rajapaksa's...
At the President's residence.
The President's residence. So now when this matter came, I'm appearing for the agri party in that matter also. So when this matter came into court and this money was brought up, he said, I mean, how can he have this? This has to go to the bribery commission and it has to be investigated.
Under the Anti-Money Laundering Act.
Under the Anti-Money Laundering, how did he get the money? How did he get 17 million? Now these are issues which public need to know. So now, in fairness to the learned magistrate of the 4th Magistrates Court, Mr. Tilina Gamage, he immediately referred it to the bribery commission. And I mean, the bribery commission comes and tells that there is no case.
There's no case.
There is no case.
Was there a report submitted?
Yeah, there was a report submitted saying that the bribery commission has gone into this, and the bribery commission finds that there is nothing wrong with this. So is that law applicable to each and every one, the Silvas and the Pereiras and Subramaniams and the Mohammeds who are normal citizens, right? So now see, the Bribery Commission Act is also a special act like this.
Yes.
But see how it is being used. Then in the same case, there was an instance where when this 17 million was found, the present acting IGP threatened the SSP who was over the phone. You have heard of it, obviously.
Yes. And there were records that he maintained.
That's
how
That's right.
That's how it was
so
revealed.
Now when he was threatened, the SSP Vikramasinghe, one man with a spine in the police department, he filed a report before the magistrate, and he said that I was threatened, and this is what happened.
And the money was told to be sent to the Minister of Public Security.
Public Security. Now, how can they do that? How can even the minister do that? How can he give an illegal order? Is the DIG or the senior DIG able to, or should he follow any legal orders? Now, can he, if in a crime, if anything is found, the first thing they must do is to produce it before the magistrate. The magistrate only will decide what is going to happen. Now, in this instance, nothing of that happens. When it didn't happen, when they didn't follow instructions, he threatened this fellow, this SSP, threatened him severely, and he had the spine to come and file a report to the learned magistrate and ask the assistance of the magistrate. Learned magistrate immediately sent it to the Witness Protection Authority. Witness Protection Authority to date, now it's about 6 months. To date has not filed a proper report. The only report they have filed is they have sent it, now they are sending it to the commission. The commission is discussing it. Okay. What is there to discuss? I mean, here in black and white, it is the SSP, a commissioned officer in the police department, is complaining that his senior DIG has threatened him. And when that comes to the
now acting IGP,
right? When that comes before the Witness Protection Commission, they have no spine to take action against it. So what I'm saying is, all these acts are good, but it depends on the men who are going to be in charge of implementing these acts. If we have independent men, if we have independent ladies, men and women who are going to be appointed, who are going to act according to this act, then we are all in a very, very safe haven. But otherwise, Chalan, what is going to happen is, if they are going to pick people and put their own cronies, then like now look at the Elections Commission. Elections Commission, now there is a new commission, no one knows who the commission is. Right, and
they seem to be disinterested in elections.
They are disinterested in elections, and we are political parties. We are normally at least call us and say that okay, now this is a new commission. If there is anything, let us discuss what we need to do. Nothing. So basically, by giving all these powers to the executive has completely filibustered all these commissions, and they are doing exactly what they want. So that vis-a-vis that, I mean, if that also happens to this bill, then we are into a very bad way.
So there have been several people who have continuously asked me now, what are offences under this act, because everybody in Sri Lanka is presumed to know the law.
Yeah.
Now I know for a fact that many of our viewers out there also might not be actually knowing what are these new crimes now that have been introduced through the online safety bill. So if you could just give us a brief understanding, because people are really in the dark on this.
Yes.
And since there was so much discussion, debate and fear surrounding this act, I think it's in the best interest of everyone for them to know what this really means.
Yeah. Now there is, it's an offence, or they are prohibited any false communications or false statements with regard to Sri Lanka. The state.
The state of the country.
The state of the country.
So what if I say Sri Lanka is in an amazing state right now? People are happy, people are waiting to celebrate, you know, the Independence Day celebrations. Would that be true?
No, that's not, that depends on how you take it.
Exactly.
I mean,
so who decides?
Although you are happy, I think the majority are
No, I'm just saying a statement, giving an example.
And we in fact we are trying to celebrate the independence in the Borella cemetery, because there is no independence to celebrate now. So then thereafter there is communication of false statement and contempt of court. Now sometimes, actually, Chalan, these have been bought with regard to social media,
online statements,
online statements, and now there are some people who are operating from abroad, and they are sending defamatory stuff against judges and things like that. So these have been tailored for that type of thing.
Right.
And then there is provocative statements. It can be religious provocation. It can be racial provocation. So now you would see in some instances they can wind up like a movement by bringing in provocative statements,
saying rise up this community. It's time to save something.
That's right. So now when you take those aspects, Chalan, I feel it is good. And now
the black letter law is good.
The black letter law is good. But now the commission, there are 5 members in the commission. Now all this have to go to them. So if they are independent men, erudite people, they will look at it in proper context and say, okay, this is now your statement, Sri Lanka. They say, no, this is just a normal statement. You can't go and prosecute for this. You can't prosecute for this. Now, for instance, you take the emergency regulation.
Yes.
Now, even the emergency regulation, there is a 3-member committee.
Okay.
Where you have to submit whoever has been arrested, the reasons you have arrested, you have to submit it into that committee. And if that committee says, no, this is not a matter coming under the emergency regulation, he has to be...
This is under the Public Securities Ordinance.
The emergency regulation.
Okay, right.
Right. So now all those committees, those commissions are inactive. They have not appointed.
Okay.
Because otherwise, now we will say there was an amendment brought to the emergency regulations, right? In the Public Security Ordinance. So then, even those, now there are those 3 people, I don't think they were ever appointed.
Okay.
So therefore it was defunct. Police fellows decided what is emergency, what is terrorism, what is money laundering. They decide, they come and so this is what you need. Now if you take in a magistrate's court. Now, this is my experience, 33 years in practice, what I'm telling you is, now sometimes the first V report, they submit a gamut of laws which have been breached. They try to bring terrorism, they try to bring money laundering, they try to bring terrorist financing, various acts are being
But those never make it to the charge sheet.
Never make it to the charge sheet. Never make it to the charge sheet. So, what I'm saying is, this needs to be regulated. If these are properly regulated, I mean, this is going to be good. It will work well. But only thing is, it depends on whom you appoint. It is not the gun, it's the man behind the gun which matters. So here, it's not the act. Man behind the act, who is going to implement the act? If they are proper, what do you call, responsible, or people who of high integrity, then we can't. So,
and that's one of the reasons why even the global community is so worried about these pieces of legislation, because there is experience in the past in Sri Lanka, the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights.
Right.
That's a covenant internationally that we've entered into that's meant to protect the civil rights of the people. But here, the enabling legislation that was passed in Parliament, the ICCPR Act, is used to subvert the rights of the general public. To suppress the general public whenever and however the government at the time feels. So the future for this act, although you claim the black letter law is good, is quite bleak.
Well, again, my answer would be, it depends on whom they appoint to the commission.
So there is a reference to false statements in this, and I think the general public is again worried about now. What is a false statement? Who decides what a false statement is?
It has to fall under section 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 of the Act.
Right.
It has to fall.
So false statement coupled with a certain consequence.
That's right.
Provocative, false statements. Defamatory, false statements.
So, there are lies and white lies.
Yes, yes. So white lies are all right.
So the commission.
So maybe if a person lies to his wife, he's not going to be liable under the.
Right now, I'll just give an example. Now, there is an illustration.
Okay.
As to the general public will know. There is an illustration. X and Y were formerly in a relationship which has since ended.
Okay. Okay.
X posts a photograph of Y in the possession of X, which could reasonably expect to remain private.
Okay.
X is guilty of an offence under this section relating to such post.
Okay. Okay.
So
not just false statements.
Correct.
But also defamatory ones as well.
No, now, the main reason for this to come out was, Chalan, children, school children, maybe teenage type of children, there were a lot of photographs,
videos
circulating, and boyfriend asked the girlfriend to send photographs, videos and things like that. So then what happens is, okay, these are sent, and when they fall out, then what happens is this blackmailing, and it's leaked into the social media and to various other platforms and friends and all that. So that became a huge problem. That is a huge problem at the moment. So what I'm saying is, schools also need to teach the students about this. So that is what propelled this act to come into operation.
And that was one of the key reasons that the government gave. But that is just one provision. Let's move to the provisions regarding false statements regarding the country.
Yes.
Now, how is that defined? Are there illustrations given?
No illustrations there.
Okay.
No illustrations there, but when you say false statements regarding the country, now we'll say, if someone says, we are at war with the Tamils, or we are at war with the Muslims, or we are, some false statement like that, which is totally incorrect, and which will arouse a lot of, concern, maybe local concern, international concern.
Right.
Now, that type of statement, then of course.
So that's a very high bar.
High bar.
Very high bar.
It's a high bar.
But is there a space for the police to lower it quite substantially?
No. The police have to take it to the commission, and the commission has to decide.
Oh, the commission. So the commission can lower the bar.
The commission. That is why I'm saying the people who are appointed to the commission have to be of independent. Have to be independent people.
So, President's Counsel Maithri Gunaratne, if I may just grill you a bit on the procedure now. Say. There's a complaint that goes regarding a statement that I made on social media, because these statements are all regarding social media statements. So I make a statement on social media, and someone complains to the commission, and the commission has, in their preliminary inquiry, found out to be a false statement or some sort of a statement that would amount to an offence under this. What next?
Yeah, then what happens is, you can report the facts to the magistrate.
The commission?
No, even a private citizen.
Okay.
Now we'll say, I have been affected, or you have been affected. Or
so let's just take the two of us as an example.
So
I make a statement regarding you.
Yeah.
You complain to the commission.
Yes.
Then what?
So then if
the commission decides that it's an offence.
Yeah. Then there is also another provision. Now we'll say, if I can satisfy the magistrate that you have made a false statement against me, and that is affecting me, the magistrate can immediately give an order preventing that channel to stop it.
Okay. So it's the magistrate that provides the order.
Yes.
The commission can the commission ask Facebook or Instagram?
Yeah, they can through the court we can send it.
Only through court.
Through court.
They can't directly.
No. That has to go through the judicial process.
That has to go through the judicial process.
They have no right to give orders, because they know no judicial. Now what we need to do is, Chalan, in this matter, in this case, our international relations, international laws will have to be strengthened in such a way that we can implement. We'll say now someone is in London or in a foreign country who is having some kind of website or YouTube channel or whatever, and he is propagating false information or churning out false information. So then that is coming through various what do you call? It's called
servers,
various servers. They are bringing it into Sri Lanka. So now that kind of crime also needs to be addressed, because no more are we isolated countries. It's a global village with internet and with IT and all coming in. Now this is a global village. I mean, within seconds the message goes to all over the world. So therefore now we need to find ways and means as to how we can implement this in distant countries from Sri Lanka. So those are the aspects which we need to do to bring this act into full force. Because otherwise what can happen is most of these fellows will have operate from out of the country, and then we will not be able to 100% implement this. So but if anyone does it here, then of course there is provision to stop it. And the fines are also very heavy. 500,000 rupees, 5 years sentencing.
Okay.
Some of the offences are going to about 700,000 rupees. So I of course feel those are good. Even other offences, if the fines are heavy, then people are going to think twice before they commit any kind of crime.
But I think it's still about 1,000 rupees, the fine for not declaring your assets, providing your asset declaration to Parliament. I think that's 1,000 rupees.
No, that is very correct. And now Mr. Gamini Vijay Singh, former Auditor General, what he says is we need to update our laws every 3 years.
Yes.
Some of our laws are not being updated at 100 years, 200 years.
I think there are some fines that are like 50 rupees.
50 rupees.
I think it's about 100 rupees for killing a domestic dog. Animal cruelty.
And even now, you spoke about this medical issue where
the immunoglobulin scam.
Immunoglobulin scam. Now in that the fine is 100 rupees. If you adulterate medicine, the fine is 100 rupees.
That's in the penal code.
In the what do you call under the health under those regulations.
Right.
So now all this needs to be revived.
But then I think there are wider offences that could come for involuntary manslaughter, so on and so forth, with regard to this crime specifically.
I couldn't follow you.
With regard to providing such substandard medicine, I believe there are several other crimes as well.
Yeah, that's right. But when you
basically
when you take the offence, the plain offence of adulterating a drug or whatever, the fine is 100 rupees. How can?
But then this was an ordinance that was drafted back in the
long time ago. So
what
I'm saying is, now isn't it the duty of the Ministry of Justice? There were so many ministers of justice. There were so many presidents who were lawyers in this country. So isn't it their duty to see that these laws are updated? Now even when COVID came, we were going on a 18th century act with regard to a quarantine act with regard to the battling of COVID. So even now, I don't think we have brought in the proper appropriate law for us to tackle a situation like that.
So moving forward, of course, there are other pieces of legislation that are also coming forth, and like you quite rightly said, the general public are just worried with regarding to the individuals, the officers, the authorities, the commissions that have been entrusted with enforcing these acts. Simple example, there's a lot of heat going on at the police department on how they're taking action with regard to these acts, and the recent arrests of many people under the ICCPR Act, the Prevention of Terrorism Act, and their subsequent release. So is there any recourse to people who have been victimized by the authorities that are enforcing these acts? Should there be any laws or regulations brought forward to protect them and to prevent these people from people who are holding high office in good faith to stop them from doing these things?
Chalan, now superb question. Now what is happening is, now we'll say when a police officer abuses his power and arrests or does anything,
he gets promoted.
In Sri Lanka he gets promoted. And we'll say the victim, the recourse the victim has is to go to the Human Rights Commission.
Yes.
Now Human Rights Commission is also not like another commission which is teethless, right? Then the next thing is you go to the Supreme Court.
Yes.
Now Supreme Court on fundamental rights. Now what I'm saying is we should have a system where with a letter you can invoke the jurisdiction of the Supreme Court. Not that you can't do it, but it does not happen.
It doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen.
So are you telling me that the general public still has a right to just write to the Supreme Court?
Definitely.
Because we all know that the legal profession charges quite a bit.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm coming to.
There are those who work pro bono, but then those are quite high-profile cases.
What I'm coming to is, Chalan, if a fundamental right has been violated, to go to the Supreme Court through the legal process of retaining lawyers and all that, for anyone, the minimum is about 500,000 rupees. So who can afford it? I'm just asking you. Can a normal guy afford it?
I don't think even a middle class person can afford it now.
In today's context.
Yes.
So you need to have a system where you write an affidavit and send it to the Supreme Court, and the jurisdiction is invoked, and then the Supreme Court will inquire into it.
But there are some mandatory provisions where the Attorney General needs to be named, and if those are not done.
No, but all that is technical,
yes.
Chalan. What the Supreme Court has to look into is whether a fundamental right has been infringed.
So, but can you do it now? Can
You can
a
do it
person
now.
just write?
You can do it now, but it does not happen. It is not taken, and it is not given.
But for the first time, what if a person does write this letter or an affidavit to the Supreme Court?
Technically, Chalan, there have been instances where a Court of Appeal judge or a Supreme Court judge, they see some kind of decision given by a magistrate which is wrong, palpably wrong.
Okay.
He has the right to call for the record and correct it.
Right.
That is the provisions which the Constitution has given them.
Okay.
But those are not implemented. All the point is, Chalan, in this country, sovereignty is in the people. The most abused are the people. Unfortunately. So
because the people don't know that they are sovereign.
That's right. That's the problem. So the judges, their powers are people's power, people's sovereign power, people's judicial power.
I think that goes across the board, parliamentarians,
all that.
judiciary,
people's
ministers.
judicial power through parliament has been given to the judges. So the judges are exercising people's power. But
parliamentarians are exercising people's power.
Judges are
ministers exercising people's power.
But if you take the prisons now, the prisons are bursting at its seams. Why? Because people are just being remanded without any, this yuktiya should be happening in courts, but now the police have taken over the yuktiya. Right? So the justice is not there. Now the police have hijacked the justice. The police are supposed to do investigation and reporting facts to court, and court is supposed to do the justice. Now that is not happening. Police are not investigating. They are doing justice. Now, if to sum up, I think we are
coming to the end. Yes.
Now the Keliya Rambukwella case, Magen Ratata organization went and lodged the first complaint.
Right.
Having done that, they don't take action. That complaint gets leaked to the minister. 2 weeks later, the minister makes a complaint. And the ministers, on minister's complaint only they investigate. So you can see how the police is being manipulated. So what I'm saying is, all these laws are good, but if you don't have right men behind the proper, holding the proper positions, none of these laws are going to be effective.
Thank you very much, President's Counsel Maithri Gunaratne. Of course, quite serious statements made regarding the people's sovereignty, but it's important that the people understand.
Definitely.
It's important that the people understand that the Constitution has given sovereignty to the people. You are supreme. The power of the people is greater than the people in power. Once again, thank you very much, President's Counsel Maithri Gunaratne, for stressing on that fact hard enough. We hope our viewers understand this and, of course, spread the message across Sri Lanka. Thank you very much for tuning in to another episode of Face to Face. Until we meet again, take care and God bless.